Donna Schaup, and I'm the coordinator of the Giving Garden here at Mosaic Church. This is our 8th season. A giving garden is a garden where all of the produce that we harvest goes to the food pantries. We have found that there's a definite need in the Dayton region for fresh vegetables to people who are living in food deserts or who are just food insecure.
I'm Karen Mueller, assistant coordinator of the garden. I think every year is different because you never know what the weather's going to be like, what kind of bugs you may get from one year to another.
There's a nice sized one right here.
With gardening, you can't really schedule well because we are in Mother Nature's hands, basically.
I'm Nancy Brown, and I'm the lay leader for the garden here at Christ Church. Our main focus was to give to the Kettering Backpack Program, but to give it to people in need in Kettering. We were out there harvesting in the rain this morning because you just sort of have to work with what the weather's doing. We have to keep an eye on the vegetables because if you let them go too long, I have learned, they get too ripe. Don't be afraid to try and understand that, you know, you're going to lose some of your crop. There's going to be some things you may have to change, but in the end, you still get a lot of vegetables.
I'm Bob Downs. I'm head of the green team at Christ United Methodist Church. We had people volunteer at different times during the year to water the garden, harvest, to weed, and you know, with summer vacations and what have you, it's always a challenge to have enough people at the right time.
My name is Ricky Smith of the Miracle Clubhouse Garden. I assist with the coordination of the garden. Ohio doesn't have, you know, the greatest soil, but the thing about it is if you stay on it, if you treat it right, if you weed it right. In other words, if you love it, it loves you back. So you make sure you water it at certain times. You try not to water in the heat. You pretty much baby the garden, but you really have to be consistent. I learned that from Jennifer.
My name is Jennifer Mullins. I'm staff here at Miracle Clubhouse, and I am the urban garden coordinator. Miracle Clubhouse is a community of people recovering from mental illness.
It's really been helpful for me, mental health wise, working with other members here, and just dealing with people as a whole.
And they just blossom just as beautiful as the garden. So it's a give-give. It's a win-win all the way around. Putting a team together and getting it done is the biggest challenge and the most satisfaction. If you're thinking about starting a garden of your own, do it. Start little, ask your neighbors. There's plenty of people out there that have the knowledge. You just have to speak up.
I have found that the master gardeners and people that garden to give away, community gardens to give away food, they are very generous with their time and their experience and their expertise.
If each church or each individual did their small part, we can make a big difference.
Today, these panelists, they represent a variety of different local growers. We're going to start with Amy Cox from Guided by Mushrooms, an urban mushroom farm located right here in Montgomery County. Amy.
Thank you, Judy. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
All right. All right, great. I am Amy Cox. I'm a recovered high school science teacher turned gourmet mushroom farmer. And I do work at Guided by Mushrooms. There are 7 employees. I am just one of them. We actually work with Dayton Co-op, so I wanted to give a shout out to the Dayton Co-op for anybody that's kind of interested in starting something like this. They have been tremendously helpful. We are actually an indoor gourmet mushroom farm. A lot of people think we grow on manure and that we're really big and messy and gross, and that's not the case at all. It's a very clean operation because it has to be. Otherwise, you end up with all kinds of contaminations and then you don't have the right kind of mushrooms that you want. We produce fresh mushrooms for grocers, chefs, and CSAs in the area. We make several culinary products, such as spice blends, butters, and honeys. We make medicinal products / dietary supplements in the form of tinctures and bioavailables as well. For anyone interested, and if there are any other slides that I sent you that have pictures of mushrooms, there we go, perfect. We start with, to make these beautiful mushrooms, you see bags there in the center on racks. Inside those bags are the raw materials that we use. And we start with things like labor, of course, wood pellets, soybean hulls, and any other plant biomass that we might be using, depending on the type of mushroom that we're cultivating at the time. We also use a little bit of water, and we use some spawn. And yes, that is lion's mane. Lion's mane is a very, very popular mushroom, growing in popularity all the time because it is so nutritious and it has medicinal qualities. The spawn will also depend on the type of mushroom that we are growing. After like a shiitake mushroom, we have to let those sit in those bags at a certain temperature. Thanks, Latasha. We have to let them sit in like an incubator area where it's dark and kind of warm compared to, when they're fruiting. They like a cooler temperature and a moist temperature when they are fruiting. But before that, once we add the spawn and let it eat, all of that wood pellet and biomass, whatever that might be, the soybean hulls or whatever, they sit. So a shiitake actually takes, we just harvested some yesterday, and they were actually started in mid-August, and we just now cut them. So if you're buying shiitakes at Dorothy Lane Market, we actually started those all the way back in early to mid-August. And then some, like a lion's mane, for example, only take about a week in incubation, and we can, send them into the fruiting chamber, and they, take about a week to create one of those beautiful fuzzy looking mushrooms there on your left. So we do have, dozens of products that we make with these. Our waste material, I hate to call it waste because it's not waste at all, which are those blocks that you see there in the center on the racks. Once those are spent, meaning the spawn has eaten everything that the bag has to offer. All the nutrition is gone. It's been produced into mushrooms, obviously. There's still spawn in there. And if you continue to give it food, it will grow more mushrooms. So we can take those spent blocks, which is what we do. We make compost. The compost is wonderful. We have a neighbor actually to the farm that makes these beautiful gardens all over his property. They have an Airbnb there also, but they use our spent blocks for their gardens. And every time I was in and out, if the weather's right, he's always in there getting that compost. We also can use it in like landscaping. So if you want to integrate it into your landscaping mulch and mix it in, you will end up with beautiful mushrooms growing in your flower beds, depending on the weather. So if it's the fall and the spring are good times for mushrooms to produce, but there are mushrooms that produce all throughout the summer, like our golden oysters that we grow in the summertime, which is a sweet mushroom. I know that sounds weird, but mushrooms are strange like that. We sell in all 50 states through our e-commerce online store, guidedbymushrooms.com. We also, our only actual place that we sell where you can meet us is at the 2nd Street Market. I got to give the 2nd Street Market a shout out. It truly is a nice farmer's market. It's well done, well maintained. And they have a lot of really good local people. So to do your Christmas shopping, if you want to avoid all the hustle bustle, I would definitely check out 2nd Street Market for sure. And we are in markets in Columbus. We are in markets in Cincinnati, obviously Dayton. We have a partnership with House of Bread where you can actually purchase our mushrooms at wholesale value and make a donation that is tax deducted to the House of Bread. And we have already gotten well over $1,000 in donations to the House of Bread, I think this year from people. So it's a popular program. We love taking them down there. They love them. So anybody interested in that, that's also on our website. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. That's pretty much all I wanted to go through. I know we only had about 5 minutes, but this is an impressive food summit so far. And thank you for your time.
Okay, thanks, Amy. Thank you. Okay, now I want to introduce Mark Amante of Central State University to tell us more about the university's new Farm Incubator program. Mark.
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. Hi, everybody. My name is Mark Amante. I am one of Central State University's agriculture and natural resources educators. If you're not familiar with Central State, we are a 1890 land grant institution based in Wilberforce, just outside of Xenia. So the university itself is in Greene County, but I end up doing a lot of work in Montgomery County, as does my other co-educator, Dana Hilfinger. And one of our big projects this last year has been developing an incubator farm program and beginning farmer training program. So let's see, I should be able to control slides. It's not moving. Oh, there we go. Oh, wow. Okay, now it's doing it. All right, yeah. So we created this program. So Central State Extension is really trying to focus on limited resource farmers, new farmers, and specialty products. And so what we did is we partnered with the City of Trotwood and Edgemont Community Coalition, launching a program, launching an incubator farm program at a couple different sites in West Dayton and Trotwood, just to get people who are interested in starting farm businesses some more experience, but without mitigating the risk involved in starting a business by giving a space and providing supplies and providing education throughout the growing season. And the classes have been open not just to people who get plots at these incubator farms, but also just general community members. We have 8 farmers or groups of farmers at the Trotwood site and 5 farmers or groups of farmers at the Edgemont site. Trying to move forward here. There we go. Yeah, so we actually just did our last field production class last week. We have had classes all throughout from March till this month on growing skills, marketing skills, and then starting in early December and going through next March, we have our business planning classes with the community economic development team at Central State as well. We've been working to get markets open for the farmers. Trotwood opened a farmers market this year, and so our program participants were one of the vendors there. We've also been working with Homeful, who you'll hear more from later, and I'll talk a little bit about. But basically, this is actually a 2-year program for the people who, we have this 1 year of detailed classes. Next year, we've got some more specialized classes, but those farmers get to produce for another year. And then we're going to start again and get another round of cohorts for people who want to learn to grow and get some space who might not have it on their own. That's been a big thing, is we want to focus on people who maybe don't have a space to grow at their own apartment or house, and provide a place for people to learn and experiment. And I'm trying to go forward. Yeah, so we're providing training, we're providing technical support, we're providing supplies, seeds, irrigation supplies, harvesting equipment, all that jazz. People who have done the whole program, are getting a certificate at the end of it. That will help them potentially. It's providing training for if they want to apply for certain financing or other things that are available to new and beginning farmers. And I'm trying to keep going here. So just about a little bit about me and Dana. I'll just talk. So we are the agriculture and natural resource educators. We both have experience working on and managing small scale diversified vegetable and fruit farms. We both have our own small farms, and we, I actually have a lot of my prior farm management experience has been at other nonprofits, doing like a lot of work that people are doing here, growing for donation and growing to support other local growers and community members. So I'm excited to continue that in this area. I'm going to keep going just past this slide, I guess, Haley, if we can keep going. And this one, yep. So this was sort of a brief overview of our schedule. So we're talking about crop planning, record keeping, how to start seeds, how to care for seedlings, all about soil health and setting up irrigation, how to handle your produce afterwards, different harvesting techniques, talking about cover crops, disease management, pest management, all sorts of things. It's been a really great class. I think a lot of people have learned a lot from it and really enjoyed it. And, I've learned a lot from the people coming into the class. It's been a really exciting program, and I'm looking forward to keeping it going. Let's keep moving. So these are just some pictures. We'll just sort of scroll through these. This is Dana doing some of her classes at Edgemont with Edgemont Community Coalition. You see they're working on prepping. We did a walk behind tractor training, a couple other things. We're talking about seedlings. Laying tarp for no-till as well. Let's keep moving. We also had a partnership. We brought in Matt Fout from the Ohio Department of Agriculture, doing a produce food safety training for all of our class members. We've also done some food preservation classes, or at least one, and we're going to do more. Let's keep moving. I don't want to take up too much time. So we've had some challenges. So we had a little bit of delayed release of grant funds and just some logistical issues, getting everything to the farm and getting started. As you all know who are growers, we had a pretty cold and wet spring and beginning of summer. That brought us some disease issues. And because we were just getting started, we had to prep ground. It also just sort of slowed us down. A lot of folks had a bit of a learning curve. We worked with people who were just beginning and also people who had been gardening for a long time, but really scaling up was a challenge for some folks. But I think a lot of people have found sort of like their rhythm. People working around getting this started with other jobs and family. We did have a little bit of pest pressure, especially deer, because we, at least at the Trotwood site and at Edgemont, I know they had some groundhog problems. So that was some challenges we faced. Let's go to the next one. But we've just, all of our participants, and even those who don't have plots, we've got a lot of enthusiasm and inspiration to continue, build partnerships, build community. People are applying these skills that they've learned. We've had this collaboration with Homeful where our producers have been selling to Homeful for their mobile grocery, and they have really liked it. And I think it's been a nice, a really nice partnership on our end for sure. And in fact, our farmers were just harvesting, I think the last harvest last night to give to Homeful this weekend. And, we've got people have gotten experience producing a variety of crops. We've got people consistently improving over time. We've got engagement with people who were just attending, and, some of them have started selling at farmers markets as well, even if though they didn't have a plot in the incubator program per se. But they've just been attending the classes. We've got folks looking to really combine, start their own businesses as we go through that business training program. And just there's a lot of energy there building up and hoping to contribute to this growing Montgomery County desire for increasing food sovereignty and local food systems. I've seen a couple of questions pop up. These classes are open. We've completed the first year of training, which is all those detailed classes. We're going to do all those classes again in 2023. This next year, we are going to have specialized classes. We are probably going to do at least one on hydroponics, aquaponics, and other things like that. And so this is just, we're just going to scroll through. I've got just a few pictures. So this is some harvest that some of our farmers, here's one of our farmers picking peppers, her family at one of her plots. We can keep going. Yeah, we just got a different number of different things. people harvesting and processing their produce. And yeah, we've got more to come. We're really looking forward to keeping this going. If anybody, I don't have my email on here, but I will put it in the chat. If anybody wants to reach out to me about joining the classes or potentially trying to get involved in the incubator when we select new plot holders in 2023, I'm going to put my email in the chat, and you can always just reach out to me and I will get back to you. Thank you all for having us. And, you know, I'm really excited to be a part of this process.
Thank you, Mark. Very interesting. Thank you. Now, our final presentation during this growing panel session will feature a video from the Food Bank of Dayton that gives us a closer look at the brand new Beverly K Greenhouse. James Hoffer is also here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Claire and I'm the Greenhouse Operations Coordinator here at the Dayton Food Bank. And today I'll be giving you guys a brief tour of the Beverly K Greenhouse. This is a hydroponic greenhouse. And basically the meaning of hydroponics is hydro, which is water, and then ponics means working. So working water. And in this kind of a greenhouse, we don't use any soil. It's just all nutrients and water. And that's what the plants actually feed off of. So this greenhouse is going to be primarily a lettuce, leafy greens, and herbs, culinary herbs greenhouse. And so we're growing things such as lettuces, spinach, kale, basil, and parsley this year so far. And we have a capacity of growing about 100,000 heads of lettuce in a 1-year period. So the really awesome thing about this greenhouse actually is that we can grow year-round because we've got a heating system as well as an air conditioning system that all are regulated based upon the outdoor temperature. So it keeps it a nice consistent temperature inside of here so that the plants can have a consistent climate. It's called an NFT system, and that is a nutrient film technique. And so with that system, we're using a perch roller right here, which is basically adding consistent amount of nutrients as well as pH balanced water into the system to keep everything regulated in here. So the two tanks on my right are nutrients, and these nutrients are the same kind of nutrients that you'd see out in traditional soil. And since we're not using the soil, we have to add them in basically a salt form. So we mix our recipe up and add it into the water, and then our final tank right there is our acid. And so our acid is used to regulate the pH of the water here, because in Dayton we have a pH of about 8.5. And the ideal range for plants to be growing in a hydroponic system is about 5.5 to 5.8. So we actually have to add acid to it in order to lower down that pH to about that range so that the plants will grow at the most efficient pace. And they can also intake nutrients in the most efficient way. So this system right here, our perch roller system, is really awesome. It's actually taking a consistent reading of the water as it's flowing throughout the greenhouse and through our stock tank in the bottom. And so it's testing our pH of the water, our temperature of the water, as well as our nutrient concentrations on a 24/7 basis. And this system is also run through Bluetooth. So we're able to see if there are any kind of errors running through the system. It'll let us know. And we can come and adjust the system as need be. So this system will automatically, if it knows that it needs more salts or more nutrients or more acid, it will automatically uptake it through these tubes right here and send it back into the greenhouse and distribute it throughout. So since we're not using any soil inside of this greenhouse, we're actually using something called rock wool. And this is this has no nutrients to it at all. It's just spun rock into a sponge like this. And so one seed will go in each one of these tiny holes on this rock wool sheet. There's about 200 in this sheet right here. So one seed goes into each one, and then it pops into this large nursery channel right here. And then these little white tubes that go all the way down the greenhouse are all feeding a consistent water stream into these channels, which is all then gravity fed back to the front. And so after the plants spend about 2 days in here and the little seed has germinated, it'll be about 2 inches tall. And then we can break off one of these cubes right here. And each one of these will go into the little tiny holes right there. And so we've got about 9,330 of these individual plant positions throughout the whole greenhouse. Alright, so the way that we're able to regulate the temperature inside of the greenhouse is through one of our methods right here is our swamp cooler or evaporative air conditioning. So this cooler works with a gallon, about 15 gallons of water right here. And all of this water is gradually sent to the very top of this swamp cooler. And then it gradually trickles down And then our fans that are in the very front of our greenhouse are actually providing an air current it's pulling that water through and gradually evaporating, and then giving those plants a nice cooling effect throughout the whole greenhouse. So one of the reasons that we chose lettuce here inside of our hydroponic greenhouse is because here at the food bank, one of the most needed vegetables is actually leafy greens. And with our hydroponic lettuce, it has an extended shelf life because the root system is still attached with the finished product. And so therefore, our leafy greens that we're providing in through our drive-through can be kept much longer inside, and therefore we can provide more nutritious crops to our community members. Thank you everybody for watching, and please stay tuned for more videos that we'll have here at the Dayton Food Bank as we begin growing in here. We'll have some pretty green heads of lettuce in here very shortly. Bye guys.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting. I was there when they first opened it, so it's very, very impressive. Okay, we did have a question for Amy, if you're still on, about morel mushrooms.
Yes.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I did answer it in the chat, but I'll go ahead and answer that. That's probably the biggest question that we get.
Okay.
And morels belong to nature. There's really no way to successfully cultivate them, to try to sell. It really has to do with a type of tree and the type of moisture or the amount of moisture that's in the soil. So a lot of times when we forage, we'll find them in kind of a swampy area along a riverbank, and it's like weird, but other times you find them growing on the side of a hill where it's not real swampy. So I think it has to do with the types of trees that are in the area and not necessarily, soil, but it does have to do with the trees.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Amy. Another question we have, James, are you on? Do you allow tours of the greenhouse?
So, hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
So we are currently not offering tours. We have the greenhouse is in production now. So we are actually in the process of putting together a virtual tour now that we have the greenhouse seated. And we hope to get that produced here really soon and be able to share with people. But because of sanitary reasons, we are not offering in person now that the greenhouse is fully operational.
Okay, good. Thank you. Amy, can you put on the chat box your website? We've gotten a question on that.
Yes, I'm going to put that in there. And please note that there is also a virtual tour that is on our website that you can go ahead and watch from ours on YouTube.
Okay, good. Well, thank you all for those presentations. Very interesting. Okay, we're going to switch gears now into our next panel. But before we start that, we're going to take a little break. And here's some questions we'd love to hear everybody answer. And that is, you can press whichever letter that it responds to. The question is, where have you gotten food from in the last 12 months? And then check every one that basically applies, such as from a large supermarket, such as Kroger, Meijer, Walmart, from a medium-sized grocery store, such as Big Lots, Save-A-Lot, Aldi, Gem City Market. Don't forget Gem City Market. The corner store, gas station. Another one is prepared meal service, such as Meals on Wheels. Another one is farmer's market or farm or garden. And then the final one is food pantry, donation, or soup kitchen. So if you want to check all those that apply, I see most are going to the large supermarkets.
Lots of farmers market too.
Okay. Interesting. Try to go to the Gem City Market. It's just wonderful, wonderful there. Okay, now we're going to go to the next question. And this one is, which of the following problems, if any, stops you from eating the healthy foods you want? And again, check all that apply. Number one, prices are too expensive. Well, we all know that. B, stores are too hard to get to. C, poor quality where you shop. Healthy foods you want, but are unavailable where you shop. Another one, not enough time to shop and prepare healthy foods. You don't like healthy food. And the last one is no problems. So interesting. Looks like prices are too expensive. I think that's unfortunately the name of the game right now. And then not enough time. We all know that. Okay, very interesting. Okay, thank you all for participating. Appreciate it. Well, we're starting now in our next presenters. You're first going to hear from Eric Collins, our Montgomery County Director of Community and Economic Development, about the ways the county is working with national research firms to learn more about what grocery stores look for when they develop new stores. I think you're going to find this very interesting. Eric?
Thank you, Commissioner. It's good to see you, and welcome everyone. I was really excited. I can't believe all the great things that are happening here with what everyone's doing. So I want to just kind of give you a quick overview of how we are looking across the entire county in terms of marketing different parts of the county, kind of using more of the traditional business aspects. And our role here in community economic development is to collaborate. We collaborate every single day with communities, nonprofits, working with companies. We call them regional resource partners that provide value to a particular initiative that we're working on, whether it's trying to bring in a company or working with an existing company. Our traditional economic development here at the county is really just that, working with manufacturers and working with professional service organizations. On the retail side, we do work with retail, but we really try to focus in on the drivers of the economy that will then promote retail consumption, essentially. So one of the challenges that we have, and that's why we're here, is kind of the food desert aspect of things. And we wanted to kind of take a big look at what is it that retailers look at when they're making a business decision to locate into a particular market. And with regard to the grocery side of things or the food side of things, we wanted to take kind of a business approach to it. And we engaged with a company out of Fort Worth, Texas called the Buxton Company. And the Buxton Company is a company that's been around since 1994. They do major work in terms of data analytics on what consumption, are looking at demographics, looking at socioeconomic groups, psychographics, they call it, and a lot of different aspects when they're looking at different markets. And they primarily serve, Buxton primarily serves communities, they serve retailers, they serve the healthcare field. And they look at all the different types of data in those particular market segments. So in Montgomery County, we obviously have a need for more options for people, for food options. And we wanted to look at the whole landscape of the county in terms of vacant land, existing buildings that could be repurposed. And then we wanted to, working with the Buxton Company, have them do an analysis of kind of overlapping where our food deserts are in other areas of the county, where we could look at data we could look where the gaps are in terms of food options, and then take data and then basically package that data up that would help us in economic development go to developers, go to end users. I'm just going to pick this out as an example, like a Kroger or other types of grocers, just in a general sense, to help show the business case that, hey, this market is underserved and there is in fact an opportunity here to put a stake in the ground and do business. Now, it could be a big box, but it could also be a smaller box as well, or a smaller type of grocery. But in the end, it helps us as a county do a better job of trying to find out. If you look at businesses, they're always looking at what's the risk, how can I reduce my risk, how fast can I get into a market, and then how do I lower my cost of doing business so I can be profitable and have a sustainable business. That's just kind of general business kind of approaches. And so what we're trying to do is package up Montgomery County locations so that we can sell Montgomery County. This has been a really interesting process. We embarked with Buxton Company, and we had worked with them several years ago in various communities, not on the food side, but just in terms of general retail side, corridors within Montgomery County. And it's been a really helpful and insightful type of process. We engaged with them earlier this year. They have a service called Scout, and Scout essentially looks at mobile analytics. So when you have your mobile phone on you and you go into a restaurant or you go into a retailer or to a place, you can literally, they call it geofencing that area. And then based on that, it's kind of that big brother, kind of scary. They can tell, what your demographic is, your income, your age range and so forth. And then all of that data then can be used to help formulate a marketing strategy or an understanding of that market, which would then be converted into helping us better target different end users or companies like a grocer. So it's been a very good process. We looked at different areas of the county. I will tell you one of the other benefits of this, and for those who are in the summit here today, for any for-profit or even nonprofit, if we can help all of you in terms of looking at different markets and so forth to sell your products, we'd be more than happy to provide that help. And I can put my contact information in the chat. So again, Buxton services are, the analytics are really a tool for us to help make Montgomery County a better place, using data to help sell different areas of Montgomery County for food specifically. Back to you, Commissioner.
Great. Thank you, Eric. Okay, next up we have Trudy Elder, and she's going to give us an update on Homeful's mobile grocery store that, you know what? It's been about a year since you started that. So thank you, Trudy.
Hey, thank you, Commissioner Dodge. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Commissioner Dodge, thank you very much. It's really good to be here with you all, particularly during National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Week. Also appreciate being here with my fellow panelists, Leah from Gem City Market and Eric from Montgomery County. I'm reminded today of a mantra that our CEO, Tina Patterson, shares with our staff regularly, and that is to see challenges as opportunities. And that's exactly what Homeful Mobile Grocery did when we saw large community grocery chains like Kroger and Aldi's departing our community, particularly West Dayton, leaving behind food deserts. You know, Homeful's a nonprofit that works to increase and improve housing, food, and jobs for the people we serve. And this includes many vulnerable populations, like people experiencing homelessness and food insecurity, senior citizens, the disabled, and low-income families with children. Mobile Momo Grocery Store is a full-service grocery store on wheels, as you can see. Actually, it's on a 42-foot straight truck, and that requires a CDL driver. We help address a number of goals from the Montgomery County Food Equity Plan. One goal is to increase the availability of healthy, affordable, local food. We accomplish that by offering a full-service selection, much like a traditional bricks and mortar store, albeit in a smaller space. We offer dry goods, meat, dairy, frozen foods, health and beauty, and cleaning supplies. In fact, our top 5 sellers are eggs, greens, lemons, orange juice, and toilet paper. We address affordability by working with our grocery wholesaler, AWG, to offer the lowest price point we can to our customers. And remember, Homeful is a nonprofit, so we're used to just breaking even. Methods of payment that we accept at the mobile grocery are cash, credit, and debit cards, and of course, SNAP EBT, and a number of corresponding incentive programs like Produce Perks and the Senior Farmers Market Nutrition Program. In fact, approximately 70% of our customers utilize some incentive program. We address healthy and local by first, not selling cigarettes, alcohol, or lottery tickets. And we feature a ride-along farmer's market offering fresh fruits and vegetables, some of which are grown by Homeful at our Main and Helena Community Garden, and some of which we purchase from the CSU Incubator Gardens, for example, you heard Marka talk about earlier. They represent Edgemont Solar Garden and the Trotwood Incubator as well. Another Montgomery County Food Equity Plan goal is to attract grocery stores to underserved communities. The Homeful Mobile Grocery visits different stops each day in food desert neighborhoods, from East Dayton to Trotwood. If I could, I'd like to give a shout out of appreciation to our regular host site partners who have stuck with us our inaugural year. This includes St. Mary Senior Housing Sites, Omega Senior Lofts, Mount Enon Baptist Church, Sinclair Community College, Trotwood Church of the Brethren, and Miami Valley Child Development Centers. Another goal of the Montgomery County Food Equity Plan is to create more local food system jobs and increase and include those with lived experience. Many of our grocery team staff have been previously homeless or faced food hardship themselves in the past. Now, they have good full-time jobs with benefits, and they're proud to work helping others in our community. Kudos to our dedicated mobile grocery team. You know who you are. In our first year of operation, the Homeful Mobile Grocery has served thousands of customers, many who are regulars now. We encourage you to shop with us too. We're pleased to partner with complimentary ride-along services from Miami Valley Works to Montgomery County Emergency Rental Assistance, the Rite Aid Pharmacy, and Premier Health Mobile Unit offering free health screens. And of course, our valued volunteer, Eva Wells, also known as the Crockpot Lady. I think you'll be hearing from her, Eva herself, in the next panel. Please check us out at homeful.org, and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Trudy. I was there at the opening of the Homeful. It just was wonderful, and I'm just so happy it's still working. So next up, we're going to get an update from Leah Bahan Harris, who is the manager of the Gem City Market. Now, you know, last year it hadn't even been open yet. So Leah, you want to give us an update?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate being here. This is an amazing panel of people, and I'm really appreciative of the process and all of the vision in this space. So thank you once again. Let me share a little bit of information. So the Gem City Market has been open since May 12th of 2021. We just celebrated our 6-month anniversary. To give a little bit of background about the market, and I'll just share our mission statement. I think that would be powerful to share with the group. Our mission statement is to serve, engage, and empower neighborhoods by providing affordable, high-quality food in a clean and welcoming environment that is worker and community owned. A couple things I can say about the process. This started about 2015, and it was a response to a need. There was a public health meeting in 2015. It was addressing the past and identifying gaps to respond to a solution. The market is on the corner of Salem and Superior, in the west side of Dayton, close to downtown, which for a while was considered a food apartheid or a food desert. We use the term within the market apartheid because it really acknowledges the intention of some of the redlining and some of the issues that our culture and some of these environments has had. And I think if you can acknowledge what has happened, it also gives hope to change. And so we use the term apartheid. In that acknowledgement, there was community meetings, which really brought participatory change to sustainable solutions. We expanded our access in that by really building partnerships with the community. And there's actually so many partners here today with me that I'm grateful for their help and collaboration. And it's that collaboration that was able to open us about 6 months ago after about a 6-year process. The big shift that we've had now is we're an operational store. So hiring people to do the work, to empower the community has been the big focus. And if people are empowered to do the work, I think then they're able to meet the mission and to hear other people within the community. Being operational, we have 18 staff. Our goal is to have about 21. Out of the 18 staff, 3 of them do not live in the direct trade area. So that means that our zip codes 02, 05, 06, 16, 17, and 26. 15 employees out of the 18 live in those zip codes. Over half of our employees are in walking distance. So I think it's really awesome to be able to see the community literally at work for each other. There's a couple of programs that we have in the store that we really try to put a focus on the community. So we do have membership, and you heard that about being employee owners. I think that's empowering to really have a stake in the future of your market, where you shop and how you shop. So we do have, I'll be the first employee owner. We have some more coming on, and we have about 5,000 community owners and different kinds of programs to really bring people in to shop at the market. And you'll hear a little bit more about Produce Perks. We just jumped that off a couple months ago. Really exciting program. It's really special to the market. We also have owner deal programs, gem deal programs that helps keep us competitive with pricing, and then gem essentials. I think just to share how the past 6 months has went and where we want to go, this is definitely a community collaboration. And so, we're constantly collecting data and doing surveys, looking at statistics of what's selling. Opening a market can be quite the feat. And I think the biggest thing for us is how do we really engage our community in a way that is welcoming, in a way that says we hear you. So we have a lot of comment cards that we give out. As a team, we like to sit and really look at your data. It's not something that is not important to us. It's something that we really look at and we put through the store. I would say opening during a time of a pandemic has been challenging too, just because of the obvious reasons. Supply chain is one of the challenges I think that we really struggle with, meaning product delivery maybe for us, or how much product we're able to get. That has been a challenge for us in real time. Also, the cost of goods, how much that product costs to us, has went up significantly than maybe what was projected before the pandemic. And so we're adjusting to that by reaching out to other vendors and other purveyors. We also use AWG to be able to give the most competitive prices possible on our end. And then we utilize other vendors. We really want to continue to grow our local program in a way that's sustainable. One of the things that I think we want to do is to provide comprehensive options to the community. So whether you're looking for something local, organic, natural, or just something that may be a national brand, and it has a very competitive price, Gem City Market has it all. So I would encourage you to come in and just take a look at the shelves And we really do take pride in people saying, hey, we appreciate you having this, or you know what, it's not here. And we look at that data and see how we can incorporate the needs of the community into our market. We do have a teaching kitchen or a community kitchen. We have a clinic and we have a community room that really centers the community at our market. Are there any questions? I know I have up just 5 minutes, so I want to be.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the questions we had was, Leah, was the fact that, is there a fee to shop there?
Not at all. So the market is open to the public. Anyone's welcome to shop here. We love seeing people come off the bus and just walk right in. We do have membership to engage the community. And so you can have a true stake, but no, you do not have to be a member. This is a market that's open to the public, just like major grocery stores.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to switch gears again and have a video that will show some of the challenges that our residents face when trying to obtain healthy food. We appreciate the willingness of the residents who were willing to share their stories.
A lot of the stores around here are closing down. So with these ones who are senior, when they was able to go to these stores, now they have to go a little bit farther out to get them.
Yeah.
So now this here is just like a mobile grocery store.
It is.
It brings it to you, and not just the grocery store, but it has all these fresh foods on there, fresh vegetables and things, you know. And it's very nutritious, and it helps the neighborhood out, especially like my wife said, the senior citizens, you know.
It's definitely a need. It's something that these people deserve to have access to.
Every Monday, this truck comes every Monday. Now let me tell you, I don't like these big grocery stores, so this is right in my favor. They got a little bit of everything. They have chicken,
Fresh produce, canned goods, dairy meats, frozen foods.
I've gotten sausage, and I've gotten greens, real greens. Right here, fruit, any kind of fruit, apples, they have oranges, they have onions, they have green peppers, anything that you really need that'll tie you over. And why I like it is because I can just come out my door.
And a lot of senior citizens don't eat a lot of fresh vegetables and fruit because it's hard to come by, number one, and number two, it's just hard to get it. Remember, they're not driving. You get 70, 80 years old and they take that license away from you, you can't drive. So at least they could come out here, pick and choose what they want.
This is really, really good.
And have help bringing it back in.
The best thing is the personality of all the employees. That's the best thing.
They always tell us every time we're at a stop, we love you guys being here and please don't ever leave. They always ask how long you're going to be here, so we try to stay out. Even through the winter, when the truck is down, we'd go to the places and do a delivery service as well.
I just like their personality. I like how they make us feel important.
That's the one thing that really stands out with all of this, is how helpful they are.
We have 2 senior programs going on for senior 60 and older, so they can get free produce and free groceries.
They take food stamps. This is definitely the ideal place.
We have tons of community resources that partner with us, so it's more than just a grocery experience. People are able to come and get what they need grocery-wise, but then they have access to other community resources if needed.
Would you like a banana?
We get a card.
That good?
We get coupons.
For the last 2 or 3 Mondays, I didn't have to pay for my grocery. I had the card.
I just highly encourage people to use these coupons and just don't take it for granted. It's a blessing, it really is.
We are on a fixed income, and it's very difficult sometimes for us to get fresh vegetables and fresh fruit.
Like, it really helps me to eat healthier, to keep myself, you know, healthy, and I'm really grateful about it.
Don't let them stop. Whatever you do, please continue.
Okay. Very interesting. I want to thank the individuals that participated in that. So thank you. Okay, we're going to bring our next panel group is consuming panel. And we're going to have a presentation by Debbie Serenius of Produce Perks. Welcome, Debbie.
Hi, Judy. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having us. Glad to talk about Produce Perks and our work in Montgomery County. And thank you, Haley, for advancing my slides. So I'm Debbie Serenius, and I'm the Director of Health Partnerships with Produce Perks Midwest. So we can go to the next slide. So I know there were some questions in the chat about who we are. We serve as Ohio's lead agency, and we administer nutrition incentive programs across the state. We pioneer innovative solutions to address inequities within our food system. Our nutrition incentive programs provide dignity of choice, empowering low-income consumers to make healthy food choices while strengthening local economies. Next slide. So our two main programs that we administer are the Produce Perks program, which has been mentioned throughout the morning already, which provides a dollar-for-dollar match for SNAP and PEBT beneficiaries to purchase fruits and vegetables. So basically, if folks use their SNAP EBT card or PEBT card, we will match that up to $25 per shopping experience. The other incentive program that we operate is called our PRX program, which is a produce prescription program, which provides prescriptions for fruits and vegetables for food insecure patient households in partnership with healthcare providers and payers. Next slide, please. So you may have seen this postcard or poster around the area. During COVID, we kind of surveyed and spoke with our nutrition incentive partners across the state and wanted to know how we could improve the food insecurity during this difficult time. So from March through the end of June, we provided unlimited match. So we took the cap off and let folks do an unlimited match to try to get more healthy produce into households. Next slide. So I thought I'd just highlight a couple things that of the impacts of this unlimited match. So first of all, this is data from across the state. We saw a 173% SNAP increase in sales. We saw Produce Perks incentives redeemed at an increase of 72%, and we saw almost a 40% increase in new SNAP customers using Produce Perks. Next slide. And to be expected, so our participating sites are predominantly farmers markets, CSA markets, but also independent grocery stores. We're excited that Gem City and Dots Market joined Produce Perks this year. And so if you'll notice in 2020, we did see a few farmers markets that didn't participate just because the pandemic was especially hard on them. But we did see, like I said, an increase in SNAP transactions and Produce Perks. It was actually, we were able to redeem almost $800,000. So we were pretty happy about that. Next slide, please. So looking specifically at Montgomery County impact of that unlimited match, we provided 67 high-risk families bi-week produce deliveries in partnership with Homeful that totaled about $2,000. Look at the next slide. And Haley mentioned our Infant Vitality Produce Prescription Program, and this is one that we're really excited to be administering. So we've partnered with the state to try to combat Black infant mortality in the 9 Ohio Equity Institute counties that have the highest Black infant mortality rate, which unfortunately Montgomery County is in that group. So we were able to serve 60 patients and their families by providing $50,000 in produce prescriptions. 90% of the babies born turn reach the health goals that we were hoping for health outcomes in this program. And additionally, we partnered with Mission of Mary to provide $32,000 to produce to Dayton area PRX patients. Next slide. Another cool thing that we were able to do is partner with Dots Market and Kettering to provide free delivery of their groceries, and they could use the Produce Perks program. They could use their SNAP card, and those deliveries occurred to 3 targeted zip codes of 1726 and 03. The next slide. We also were able to invest and help Dots kind of scale up to do this delivery. I should mention that any pregnant mom or new mother participating in our prescription programs were able to get free grocery delivery regardless of where they lived in the Dayton area. So we were also, like I said, able to do some investments into the food system infrastructure. We were able to help them get additional freezers and coolers, upgrade their software system to support online ordering, software customization to operate the Produce Perks program. And like I said, piloted that free delivery to those targeted zip codes. We were able to extend that delivery through the end of February of this year, and they made 32 deliveries in 2021. Produce Perks launched at Dots Market in September of this year. And in that first month, they had over $800 in fruits and vegetables during September that first month. And we're excited that Gem City launched that same month as well. And we hear it's going very well at Gem City also. Next slide. So here's our website, produceperks.org. And I can also put my email in the chat, and thanks so much for the opportunity.
Well, thank you, Debbie. And guess what? We have a question, actually 2.
Okay.
Yes. All right. One of the questions is, how do you sign up?
So it sort of varies, farmers market to grocery stores. So with Gem City, they have kind of we are piloting an interesting concept of, they have a loyalty card. So if you go to Gem City, you can just go to their customer service and talk about signing up. There's no sign up at the farmers markets and at Dots. You just have to present that card when you're checking out, and the match will happen. At some grocery stores, they give you a coupon to use at the next time, but at farmers markets, it happens just right at the point of sale there.
Okay. Now, another question is, how is this funded? The Farm Bill?
Oh, we have a variety of funding. So the Produce Perks is mainly funded federally. So yes, sort of through the USDA. It was called the Finney Grant, which we just completed, and it's now changed names to GusNIP. So we did just receive another 3-year funding cycle to continue it. So which we're very pleased about. Our prescription programs are funded. Like I said, the infant vitality is funded through the state, and then by various healthcare providers and hospitals.
Okay, good. And I see you put your how to get in touch with you if anybody else has any other questions. So thank you.
Okay.
Now I want to welcome Eva Wells. Now she's also known as the Crockpot Lady, and she's going to offer some tips on easy, healthy recipes for some of the produce that many of us may not know how to prepare. Eva.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. So yes, thank you for having me this morning. Yes, I am Eva the Crockpot Lady, and I have easy peasy recipes for your crockpots. But I also have a question for you to start with. What's the last thing that you remember you fixed in your crockpot? Or is it gathering dust? So one thing I've been doing is I've been traveling with the Home Foods mobile grocery. And with those recipes, I've been also supplying them with grocery lists. So they're easy to fix because they can also shop at the mobile grocery. So one of the recipes that went over very well was zucchini bread. We did zucchini bread in the crock pot. It was made with a cake mix, a yellow cake mix, and also the zucchini that was sitting out front. So it went over very, very well. It takes about 4 hours in the crock pot to cook on low. Another recipe is breakfast. What do I do for breakfast in the morning? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not really a morning person. So normally I fix breakfast in my crock pot. So that can consist of an egg casserole with maybe bacon or sausage in it, a few green peppers, few red peppers, onions, and then that cooks overnight. But the great thing is when I wake up in the morning, I know that breakfast is done, it's healthy, and it smells great in my house. Another thing you can do is oatmeal. Oatmeal can be done in the crock pot. I usually add apples to that. Easy done with milk or water. If you're allergic to the milk, or I use almond milk, you can do that in the crock pot. Usually takes about 4 or 5 hours in the crock pot on low. And it's nice to wake up to in the morning, a nice warm breakfast now that it's getting cold outside. Other things that I've done in the crock pot this year, the gardens were wonderful. We had a lot of green peppers, red peppers, so we made salsa. So that went over very big. So that's something that doesn't take that long to cook in the crock pot. Basically, you're just chopping up all your vegetables, adding them in the crock pot. I froze tomatoes from the gardens and put those in the blender and pureed those. And then I just put everything together in the crock pot with a few seasonings, and it made great salsa. That went over really, really, really big too. But the major thing with the crock pot, and everybody loves, are the dump cakes. So I've made an apple dump cake. You can make a peach dump cake. You can do the apples with a box of spice cake to do it with that. I mean, it's just easy peasy to do. The other thing that Brian mentioned was listening. I love the people that I've met traveling with the mobile grocery store. The stories that they tell me are amazing. And what better way to share a story than with something to eat? So my grandmother used to always sit us down at the table, and that was the best time at dinner, was to share all our stories. So making a one-pot meal is so easy to do. And it's very, very nice for those moms that are on the go, those dads that are on the go with soccer practice, baseball practice, basketball practice, football practice. Now you've got a one-pot meal that's satisfying and healthy for everyone in the family. So does anyone have any questions for me? And I thank you for having me.
Yeah, Eva, we've gotten a couple questions. Can you share your contact information? I see it's a little bit on here, but okay. All right.
Sure. I will put that in the chat box. I'll put my email address in there.
Okay, good, good. Okay. Okay, well, that's what we're going to do because we're a little bit ahead of time. So I think we're going to take just everybody stretch their legs, get a cup of coffee, and just take about a 5-6 minute break. Thank you. And then we'll